Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been opposed to this since almost the very first second I heard about it. I don't trust the government. You might say I trust it even less now that I'm part of it. I have fears of a runaway government, a runaway convention. It's a real threat to our current form of constitutional government, and that should not be limited in its scope of seriousness. So should I trust that an Article 5 convention or convention of states would be limited as it is in H.R. 1125 to just several topics? During the debates with our colleagues here in the House, I've often pointed out that I could not find among us the next James Madison. Who can we trust to do the right thing at this time? So I've prayed about it. I appealed to heaven, if you will. And the conclusion that I've come to is quite simply is this, that Washington, D.C. is a broken mess. It cannot be denied that it doesn't matter which party is in power, that Washington cannot discipline itself, and it simply will not discipline itself, and we have to do something about it. $17 trillion in debt with no promise of a balanced budget on the horizon. It doesn't matter which party is in power, again, no balanced budget anytime soon. No plan to pay off that $17 trillion. And they only want more and more and more. They've done this in the spirit of Keynesian economics. Just spend the money. John Maynard Keynes was famous for saying something along the lines of, in the long run, we're all dead. For me, that's one of the most immoral statements that I've ever heard. The essence of that statement is simply to say that so that we can maintain our comfort today, we will place the burden on future generations when they don't even know it's coming for them. We're burdening our children and grandchildren with an insurmountable amount of debt. We have to do something. I live in the 11th Congressional District, and I have 3 friends of mine, I call friend, running to be my next congressman. And I'm sure that any one of those 3 would fight for my children's future. But it unfortunately won't matter which one of those 3 get elected because they're just one person. They're not going to be able to do this by themselves. I'm afraid that in the culture of Washington, D.C., the swamp of a culture that Washington, D.C. has become, that they will not find very many allies. So yes, I have reservations, but I've prayed about it. And my sense is that this is our best chance to boldly state to the federal government that it's time to get our house in order. Some of you know, maybe some of you don't, I wear this bracelet on my wrist to remind me of why I'm here. It has on it inscribed Acts 4:29. Acts 4:29 says, "Now, Lord, consider their threats and enable your servants to speak your word with great boldness." That's sort of my life verse down here. Consider their threats and speak your word with great boldness. I wasn't elected to be milquetoast. I wasn't elected to be able to say that I did just anything. I was elected to do the difficult thing, the important thing, the bold thing. H.R. 1125 is a bold thing. So when I look at my children and I realize that if I do nothing right now, if I do not choose to stand against the brokenness of Washington, D.C., then I'm given tacit approval of their irresponsibility. It is time for the states to stand in protection of future generations because Washington, D.C. simply will not do it. I'm going to talk a little bit about Ben Franklin, and I'll let you guys go. During the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin didn't particularly care for our current version of our Constitution of the United States. Ultimately, he agreed and addressed the convention by saying this: "It is therefore that the older I grow, the more apt I am to doubt my own judgment of others. Most men think themselves in possession of all truth, and that whatever others differ from them, it is so far error. On the whole, I cannot help expressing a wish that every member of the convention who may still have objections to it would, with me on this occasion, doubt a little of his own infallibility." We have an option to save country, our republic. And because of our current situation is so dire, it's our responsibility to do so. So I'm voting yes to this, and I hope you will too. Madam Speaker, I yield the well.